Hello, everybody. I'm here to talk about Free Guy. Now, I did see this in the theater, so I wasn't able to take notes. So this is either going to be very short or very rambly because I don't have notes to follow. Right up top, I want to say I enjoyed this movie I more than I thought I would. And there was a certain point early in the movie, and this happens to me when I watch movies for the first time. I usually enjoy movies better the second time. But a lot of times towards the beginning, I'm worried that it's too slow. I'm worried that I'm not going to get enough of what I want. And there was a point where I was just like, I've kind of seen this stuff before. Like, I feel like this isn't very new. And I don't want to say there's a ton of original stuff in here, but it gets enough throughout the rest of the movie that by the end, I was having a great time. And there's a particular scene towards the end that completely caught me by surprise, totally unexpected. I think it had to have, I don't want to say why, but I think it had to have been changed since this movie was supposed to come out. I think if this movie came out on its original release date, that would not have been there. But I think because of the delay, they realized that they could add this in, and if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I don't want to spoil it, but that was great. There was a great cameo in there, and the people in my theater lost it. And so I had to decide. I saw this on Thursday night, and I had to decide whether to see Don't Breathe 2 or Free Guy. And when I went to get a ticket online, Don't Breathe 2 was sold out, which surprised me because I thought that was the lower profile film. So there weren't a ton of people there at Free Guy, and it wasn't a big theater, but it wasn't very crowded. So not a lot of people went out to see it. I was kind of surprised. I would have thought Ryan Reynolds and Disney would have been a bigger draw than this sequel to a super low budget horror movie. But yeah, that one was sold out, and this one was pretty sparse, but people were laughing, people were having a good time. Like I said, there's quite a bit in there that, you know, you kind of feel like you've seen before, but I don't think that's, you know, necessarily a bad thing. They took it in an interesting way. I like seeing the world in different versions and the characters. They show quite a bit of streamers who are playing the game or watching the game or things like that. And most of them I don't know who they are because I don't really watch that kind of stuff. But I did recognize Ninja, so the kids will get excited when they see Ninja in there. And there's a couple different devices that are either directly from or inspired by Fortnite that I caught. But Jacksepticeye was in this movie several times, and I haven't watched him in a while. I started watching Jacksepticeye when I found his Happy Wheels videos, and I loved watching those. And then at a certain point, he stopped doing those, and so I kind of stopped watching him since then. But it was nice to see Jacksepticeye again, and I love his accent, and you know I've always liked him. I just don't particularly like watching a lot of his stuff other than the Happy Wheels stuff. So that, I mean, it makes sense. It's a movie about a video game to have real world streamers in there, but I was not expecting that. Didn't see that coming, and he kept coming back. I mean, most of them come back multiple times throughout. So that was a little nice Jacksepticeye bit in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that this movie is amazing or it's going to blow you away or anything like that. But there definitely was, and I don't even want to, even with vague terms, don't want to talk about it too much. But there was a bit there towards the end that, like, everyone in the crowd had it was a nice theater moment. Like, that's the kind of thing that people like me that like going to see movies in the theaters, that's why. It's because we collectively had this, like, oh my gosh moment. And it was really cool. So, not the most amazing movie in the world. Not, you know, super amazingly original. We've seen similar stuff. You know, there's a lot of similarities to the Lego movie. Guy is a lot like Emmett in a lot of ways. I would say there's some similarities to, like, Ralph Breaks the Internet and things like that. But it's a good time. I enjoyed it. There's, like, one big nitpick that I would have, which I'll put at the end as a spoiler. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I feel like I've said that 3 times now, so I'm going to end the main part of my video. So I will get into the spoiler here in a minute, but if you're going to jump off now, then thank you for watching and have a good day. Slight spoiler warning. I don't think it's a big deal, but we're going to get into the spoiler here. So, throughout the movie, the main character, who is a character in the real world that plays a character in the game, like, I don't want to say falls in love, but develops a relationship with Guy, who is just an AI. He's not a real person. He's an NPC. And at one point in the game, he kisses her in the game. And she's talking about this to one of the game developers. And he's like, there's not a button for that. So, like, that's not a thing that players can do with each other in this game. And then something happens, and basically Guy has amnesia. And she knows that he's capable of getting his memory back. Well, he's got amnesia. He was rebooted. But she finds out that he's capable of getting his memory back. She just has to kickstart it. And so the way she does that, and the thing that kind of drives the whole third act, is that she kisses him when we've established in the movie that that's not a thing that a player can initiate. So that's the only thing that bothered me a little bit. Just because you didn't need to put in the line about that players can't do that. You could have just left that line out and then it would have been fine. But the fact that they specifically said players can't do that and then they had a player do it and they didn't explain how. That was the only thing that bothered me a little bit. Everything else, I mean, I didn't have super high expectations of this movie, so I wasn't keeping track of every little nitpick. That's the one that bugged me, but not that much. I liked this movie. If you go in looking for a good time, I think you're probably going to have a good time. So those are my thoughts on Free Guy. Let me know what you thought, but that's everything that I've got. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.